Okay, so BTC is either going to break this support or it's going to bounce from there. Okay, so let's see how can we position ourselves. Okay, so let's get straight to your BTC chart right now. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so right now BTC can either break this support at around 26,658. It can either break that support and make a resistance, then only we can enter short. Only once it breaks, makes a resistance, then we enter a short. Okay, so right now we don't enter a short, but BTC can either bounce from this 26,658 and back to come to 27,474, because if you see the previous time, it just been ranging from here from 26 to 27,474. Okay, so right now we need to take all this info and we need to go into the altcoin and see where they exactly go as BTC goes, right? So if you like content like this, just give it a like so that YouTube also recommends video like this. Okay, so now let's get to your next chart, which is your Ethereum. Okay, so let's talk about your Ethereum chart. Okay, so right now your Ethereum is right in the middle. Okay, so it's right in the middle right here. But if your Bitcoin breaks that 26,000 support, right, your Ethereum also will break its own support over here at 1,847. Okay, so once it breaks that support, makes it as a resistance, then only will enter short. Okay, so till then we just wait and watch. Okay, but if your Bitcoin bounces from there to go to 27, your Ethereum also will bounce and it will go all back to 1900 and 1919. Okay, so we need to keep an eye on that. It either bounces or it breaks the support. Okay, because even if you see your past time, your Ethereum was also bouncing from here to here, right? See, from here bounce to here back again. Okay, so we need to keep an eye on that. Okay, so now let's talk about your next chart, which is your AVAX. Okay, so right now your AVAX 2, if your Bitcoin bounces that 26 support, you know that your AVAX also will bounce this support. Your AVAX will go, it'll go like this, it'll bounce this and it'll go up. Okay, that's until Bitcoin bounces. But if your Bitcoin doesn't bounce that, you know, here's the second one. Okay, so AVAX is going to go up and then it's going to break this support, and once it breaks this support at around $14.64, once it breaks that support, makes a resistance, then we short it from here and we ride it all the way to $13.95. Okay, so it can either bounce if Bitcoin bounces and to go up to $15.32. Okay, so now we that's on your AVAX chart. Okay, so now let's go into your next chart, which is your Solana chart. Okay, so Solana chart is quite different. Okay, so if your Bitcoin bounces, your AVAX also will bounce this support at around $21.35. Okay, if your Bitcoin bounces that 26 support. But if your Bitcoin doesn't bounce, it will do this one, which is it will break this support and then go all the way to $19.88. Okay, so it will give that confirm higher low here, as it is giving a higher low. Then you can do a trend line like this and you can short it right here, or you can short when it breaks this support. Okay, so that's for your Solana chart. You'll know that it will do that small high low, then another high low, and maybe it'll do a third high low, and then you can either short from here, or you can short it from here when it breaks this support. Okay, so now let's talk about your next chart, which is your dot. Okay, so for dot is different. Okay, not like same. Okay, so right now if your Bitcoin breaks that support at $26,000, right, that support, your dot also will break its own support at around $5.23. Okay, to break the support, make a resistance, then only be short. Okay, but if your Bitcoin bounces that 26 support to go to 27, your dot also will bounce. Okay, so once it will bounce this support and it'll go all the way to $5.48, because as you know, you can see the previous time your dot is just bouncing from $5.48 to $5.23. Okay, so now let's talk about your next chart, which is your Cardano. Okay, so Cardano is same like your Solana, right? Your Solana chart, right? So if your Bitcoin bounces, your Cardano will bounce this support at around 0.37 cents. Okay, but if your if your Bitcoin breaks that support at $26,000, your Cardano also will kind of make a small higher low, and then over there we can short it, right? At the tips we can draw a trend line right here at this resistance you can see here, can put a short position right here if your Bitcoin breaks that support, and we can ride it all the way to 0.35 cents, or you can short at this supports right over here. Okay, so that's for your ADA chart, because even if you see your previous ADA chart also has been bouncing from 0.35 cents to 0.37 cents. Okay, so if your Bitcoin bounces this support, your Bitcoin bounces at 26,000 support, your ADA will bounce and it'll go all the way to this resistance. Okay, your 0.39 cents. Okay, so now let's talk about your next chart, which is your algo. Okay, so your algo as of now it's just been bouncing from 0.15 cents to 0.14 cents. Okay, so it can even break that this if your Bitcoin breaks is $26,000. Okay, and then we don't need to short your algo, because this is the lowest that is ever gone. Can even go more down, but I'm saying if you're bullish or a long term of your algo run, would be a good entry to be buying, because the lowest has ever gone in 2018, okay, was here at around 0.09 cents. Okay, so if you're bullish for overall, would be a good entry to be buying, because these are just the lows of it. Okay, so now let's talk about your next one, which is your near. Okay, so for your near also, right now your near is in the middle right now. Okay, so if your Bitcoin right now bounces that support, right, your near also will bounce this support. Okay, right here will just bounce this support and then break this resistance. Okay, if your Bitcoin bounces at 26,000 support. Okay, so we can re-enter only once it breaks, make support. Okay, remember, your near we can do only once it breaks, make support. But if your Bitcoin is bearish, right, it breaks that support, your near also will break its own support right here. It will break a support, make a resistance, and ride it. We don't need to ride the small range, we don't need to ride. So near will not ride. Only once it breaks, makes support, we can put a long position once your Bitcoin breaks its own resistance, right? Once your Bitcoin bounces, your near also will break this, make a support, then only will re-enter. Okay, because even if your near is just bouncing from $1.67 to $1.55. Okay, so here's the idea on how your near chart is going to perform. Okay, so now let's go into your next chart, which is your phantom. Okay, so your phantom, it's not been ranging, but it's just been ranging recently. Okay, but it just broke this support. Okay, so your phantom has not been ranging. Okay, but it can even range, right? So if it ranges but will not take a long on this, will not take a short, because if you see here, there's no buying pressure right now. Okay, so there's no buying pressure. Okay, so maybe if you want to actually re-enter only, it will be good that we need to see that high buying volume candles. Okay, then only we can rebuy into phantom. Okay, even if it breaks this, we'll see if the candles are good, then only we'll re-enter into phantom. Okay, so till now we keep aside phantom and the previous one, right? Your near. Once near breaks that, we'll enter, as I told. Okay, so now let's go into your crypto trend and see there what we need to check. Okay, so we'll check into Luna C, because that pumped high, then mana, then sand, and then nothing else is there. Okay, so now let's go straight into your crypto trends. Okay, so the first one will go into mana. Okay, mana crypto. Okay, so right now, if your Bitcoin bounces, right, that 26,000 would be a good entry to be buying in mana, because mana is already pumped so much, and with this crypto trend, right, means there's good buying volume. With if your Bitcoin bounces, right, let's put this green so that you all can understand. So if your Bitcoin bounces, right, it would be, if only your Bitcoin bounces, and if it keeps this support, we can buy a mana here, because more probably it's going to bounce. Okay, and it's going to go higher. Okay, but if your Bitcoin is in a short position, if your Bitcoin goes down, then we cannot long this. Okay, so that's for your mana chart. Okay, if Bitcoin is bullish, we attack on mana. Okay, so now let's talk about your next one, which is your sand. Okay, so even your sand. Okay, so if your Bitcoin bounces that support, right, at around $26,000, would be a good entry to be buying sand right here. Okay, and then it's more probably going up with a small stop loss. Okay, that's until if Bitcoin bounces and Bitcoin is bullish, we see into sand, because the sand also is going to go even more up, right? Okay, so now here are the coins that are mostly bearish. Okay, so if your if your if your your Bitcoin doesn't bounce, it breaks that support, then we can enter short on this, on your Lido. Okay, we can keep it here as a trend, can keep it here. That is until if your Bitcoin breaks that support at 26,000, makes a resistance, then only we see into Lido to short this. Mostly here this resistance is supporting, right? So now let's talk about your next chart, which is your quant. Okay, so even your quant. Okay, so if your Bitcoin breaks that support at 26, these are the coins that are bearish, right? So a quant would be a good entry to be wait for Bitcoin breaks that support, and then we can ride it. Okay, so mostly it's going to pump back again to, you can say, you can make your trend line here. So it more probably being this as a resistance right here. So it's more probably going to come back here. Here we can short it right here. That is until if Bitcoin breaks that support. Remember, then we can short the quant and we can ride it all the way to here, so around 0.19 cents or in the middle over here exactly. Okay, so that's for your quant chart. Okay, now let's the last two, and the next one is LTC. Okay, so if your Bitcoin keeps going down, breaks that support at 26,000, your LTC would be a good position to be shorting. Okay, so right now once it breaks this support, once LTC breaks the support, makes a resistance, then we can enter short right here and we can ride it all the way to 89 cents for your LTC. Okay, this is until if Bitcoin is bearish we enter. Okay, if it's bullish we enter those two which I told you. Okay, so LTC, Bitcoin breaks that support. Now let's talk about your next short, which is your ATP. Okay, so your ATP also, if your Bitcoin breaks that support, a Bitcoin is bearish, then we see into ATP. Okay, so because your this also there's too much buying selling pressure. Okay, so if your so for your ATP chart, your Bitcoin will break its support, this will break its own support at your ATP will break its support at $8.77, makes a resistance, then only we enter short right here and we ride it all the way to, you can say, to this support at around $8.019. You can ride that short position. Okay, that's until if Bitcoin is bearish. Okay, so now let me give you a quick question. Okay, so which coin, this is by Delphi Digital, this tweet, if you had to hold one of these tokens for next 3 years, okay, which would it be? Okay, so which would you think, which would you enter? Would you enter Solana at the price of it's now, where Solana, you know where Solana is around, where Solana is, we'll check as Solana, where Solana, Solana is around at $21. Okay, would you buy Solana right now? Would you buy Solana? Would you buy Cosmos? Where's Atom? ATOM. Okay, I'll just put Atom. ATOM USDT. Would you buy Atom right here at this price around $10? Yeah, I'll just show you the chart. Atom, the next one, or would you buy ARB token? ARB. Okay, the layer 2 E. ARB. Where is it? ARB USDT. So we buy this one. Where's ARB? Okay, so 1 second, I'll just put it here. Actually I kept layer 2 ETH. Okay, let's put it here. Or would you buy ARB USDT? Okay, here it is. So would you buy this ARB token at night? Now it's around $1.17. That is bottom. Okay, this is the bottom right now. Okay, but this is not the clear bottom. The VCs also are not down, so this is kind of no bottom. Or would you buy OP? Okay, so now if you really think, right, we have seen the crypto news, we know that OP, the big unlock has happened, right? So buying OP at, I'll just show you OP. Okay, here buying OP would be a good price. Okay, so because your OP, the big unlock has happened, right? So seeing on buying OP would be a good entry because they a big unlock just happened, right? So that's the thing what I wanted to tell you. Okay, so that's it for your crypto news. If you like content like this, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ping the notification bell on so you don't miss content like this and you're early to watch. Okay, so peace out.